The need to empower young men with leadership and life skills has never been greater. Initiatives like the Boys Leadership Club at Rehoboth High School and 4x4 Initiatives Boys to Men event are stepping up to provide that support. Today, we're joined by Daniel David Hammond and Larmech Barros to discuss how these programs are shaping the future of young boys in Rehoboth. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Briefly speak to us about what motivated the Boys Leadership Club at Rehoboth.
Yeah, so earlier this year, Mr. Boyce approached me and we actually did also a similar project at HTS, Windhoek Technical High School. And then I just noticed how much it does for the community and for the boys. You know, when you give a guy that responsibility, they tend to step up to it. And that's what we would try and do with the Boys Leadership Club at Rehoboth. So the inspiration is just that need. There is discipline that's very much important, and with this we hope to get a bit of that discipline, get the boys to see that there is positive role models out there and there is a proper future that they can strive for without navigating or going into the wrong way of things.
Let's talk about the boy child. There's a lot of conversations that are now being held because a lot of times the girl was being upheld and then the boy child was being left behind. What are some of the issues that boy child are facing now in the current status of the nation?
You see, basically what I believe is that most of the time, you know, boys are not raised by both their parents. Sometimes it's a single parent or foster parents, you know. So being a boy that isn't having that love and attention from people, it tends to push them the wrong way. Sometimes you end up becoming, how do I say it? You end up changing your mentality and personality just to fit in, which leads you to doing bad things like maybe drugs or, you know, stealing, fighting, just something to put you into that momentum, saying that you are part of something, you know. So I believe that's the worst part about it. It pushes boys to do things that aren't usually what they do.
How do we change the status quo then? What are some of the values that needs to be instituted or programs that needs to be instituted that are directly directed to the boy child to at least change that status?
Yeah, so personally I would say that in order to help the boy child also be engaged is by having them seen as, or giving them that platform to making them feel loved as well. Because I think as a guy, sometimes when you look at all of the support that the females get, then it could also tend to make you feel a bit left out. And also because they say boys aren't allowed to cry. So that status quo is already there, that you need to be strong, you need to put on a brave face, and also around your friends, that peer pressure that comes where you need to be the certain guy, you can't be something else. A lot of the times what happens is, like you said, that your personality tends to then be shaped in a certain way where it's not actually you yourself from your authenticity. So that's also what we try and teach the boys and the young men out there, that you can be yourself and you shouldn't be scared to stand out. You can also take a different route, go the positive way, even if it's swimming against the stream. At the end of the day, you are going to feel more valuable to yourself as well, because you know that you are doing something that's true to yourself. And how we can change this is by starting initiatives like this and calling for other young men, females to encourage these type of initiatives, and also then have ladies and men treated at that specific level, because at the end of the day, both the boy and the girl child need guidance. And I feel that's also how we are going to cut out the gender-based violence figures that have been going on within Namibia, even in South Africa. So when you start young and you teach boys from a young age that no, you don't need to be masculine in a violent way, but you can be masculine positively. You can protect and provide for a female, or you can take care of them in a good way. You don't need to enforce yourself onto them. Then that's how it can then reduce these negative figures.
Talking about this initiative, Larmech, what values does the Boys Leadership Club instill in the young boys or the men that actually attend these clubs?
Okay, like for me, example, at the camp, we had always this routine that we followed. This was one thing that stuck to me a lot. They said the most dangerous thing in the world is not a lion. It's a waste of time, which then made me realize that putting my time and effort on meaningless things is what pushes me back. So they set up values for us like discipline, self-respect, self-discipline, and respect towards others, and self-love. But the one I instill the most to myself is self-love and value. Without that, I limit myself and I tell myself that I can't do this. But the moment I put values for myself and I love myself, show myself that I can do better, I can do far, far better, and I can go beyond. So it tells me that if I limit myself, I'm limiting my potential, which I tell myself every day. If you limit yourself, you limit your potential, which means you can never grow in the future. That's why you should aim higher. So those are basically most of the values that we have faced with the camp and what we have learned so far.
And Daniel, what skills are being employed on you guys?
Yeah, so if you look at the camps, there's skills such as we don't just look at things from one-sided perspective. So we try and engage the boys holistically. So then we look at the emotional skills, we look at physical skills, we look at mental skills. So an example for emotional skills would be when we have one-on-one conversations with the boys and we engage them with a sense of this is how you can navigate your emotions. And as a young guy myself, I would tell them this is where I've gone wrong and this is how I've made it right. So you give them skills such as when you are going through a difficult time, maybe journaling, writing down those emotions rather than going and like smoking or drinking a beer. You can then use a positive coping mechanism. And then physicality, the skills that we've taught them is that sometimes it is important to go for a jog or do a couple of push-ups, and in that way you are keeping your body healthy as well. And then when we look at the mental skills that we give the guys as tools, we would say that we've set up maybe a 1-year plan, which could be a short term, and then a medium plan would be 5 years, and then up to 10 years. So from that, they can then have that vision and then build further from there. So that's a few examples that I could name of some skills that we've been teaching the boys.
Community is very important in such initiatives. How do you plan on involving the teachers, the schools, the parents as well in this initiative as far as possible in instituting a change when it comes to the boy child?
See, so far after we joined the camp, they made me a 4x4 initiative. I'm now part of the 4x4 initiative mentorship program. See, so basically, as we have started our mentorship program, I've seen a couple of changes. Every few weeks, we go by schools. We engage the teachers, life skills teachers, sports teachers. We engage them. We talk about the boy child in specific. We ask them questions and we try and guide them. Then I get permission to go to their schools and engage all the boys there. Because we are not trying to change the world in one day. That's not possible. But what we are trying to do is just change those who are willing to learn and to guide them, to help them push the others that are not. So basically, when we go to other schools, we try and give the boys a sense of mind. We give them that attention and the understanding they need, because not everyone wants their solutions to be solved by someone else. They just need someone to understand them and to guide them to a better place.
And have the parents been coming on board?
Yeah, so I would say they have. Actually, yesterday there was a parent from JTL, so he is also teaching there, and he engaged me where he said no, he saw the advert and he likes sending his boy to initiatives such as these, and he said, where is it taking place? How can I get more information? And also, when will this be happening? So we know that it's going to be happening in Rehoboth at the JTL Sports Field from 9 to 1 on the 24th of August, which is this Saturday, actually tomorrow. So yeah, his son is going to be there, where we're going to also just have further conversation with the dad and just further engagement. So also how we've been doing this is that we engage the principal and then at Rehoboth High School, and he then further told us, no, we can communicate with the life skills teacher, and then that's also how we can then communicate with the parents through that. So we don't try and take different routes, but we try and use platforms that's already been made available through the government, such as the life skills teachers at the schools. And then with the camps, how the parents get involved is that they send their boys to these organizations or these events that will be happening as well.
Mm-hmm. Though it's taking place tomorrow, how can boys that are in Rehoboth partake?
It's not really like in specifics. So if you are willing to join, you just get your tickets and you come to the place. We're really not having second thoughts. We really want every boy and everyone to come.
Mm-hmm. Speaking about the 4x4 initiative, as well as the Better Than Yesterday, which is an initiative that you co-founded, how does it best try and help support the young men?
Yeah, so what we also do is when we engage these young men and the boys as well, is that we try and provide support not just as a once-off, but we try and go back and see that we do follow-ups. And what we do as well is we've got platforms on Instagram, on YouTube, where we do weekly videos and we talk about certain topics which we are facing ourselves, or that is forthcoming within the industry. And also we try and speak about role models that are doing things positively, just so that we have the boys see that there is things to be done and it is possible when you want to do.
Daniel David Hammond, as well as Larmech Barros, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
I'm so thankful.
That was David Daniel Hammond, as well as Larmech Barros, from the 4x4 initiative, as well as the Boys to Men event that will be taking place in Rehoboth High School. We'll be back with more conversations right after this.